Hey everybody, welcome to ParaGeeks. I am John Gass and I am the tech guy of the ParaGeeks. And today I figured it was time to have our historian on. That's really not what he goes by, but that's what I call him anyway, because he is just near and dear to my heart and he's a good friend. So let's bring old Mark Muncy in here, our historian of the group.
Hi, gang. How we doing?
So, Mark, it's been a while. Actually, it hasn't been a while. We had a show last night, Nerd Talk. It was
Yeah, we did.
actually
We do nerd talk too, which I'm a
awesome
big
show
nerd.
last night. Yep, yep, yep.
Oh, it was great.
Oh, and we're gonna have that kind of stuff going on for ParaGeeks. So, the reason that we've put this show together and this group together, we're the ParaGeeks, right? And we have everybody that kind of knows their realm. And without Mark being a part of our group, we're just a bunch of flailing morons. I'm just saying.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, I mean, in a way, yeah. Just think about it.
You,
If we didn't know the lore, if we didn't know the history of the area, we'd be just out there walking around going, "Hey, let's call for Bigfoot, or let's look for ghosts, or let's look for aliens, or look for Mothman, or let's for." So,
yeah,
but we have to have that one guy that keeps us grounded in reality of going, okay, this is what the lore is. This is what the history of the area is. So,
yeah.
but I want to know, and I know we've done this for other shows, but my true no today is I want to know what really got you into pursuing the whole history, the whole lore, and in the ghost side, and in the cryptid side, and in the UFO side. What really got you started?
Well, I was a child of the '70s, and that was in West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and right at the height of the Satanic Panic in the '80s and all that. So, ghosts and monsters and cryptids
Oh my.
were the gateway drug to horror and science fiction because you couldn't find those. They were all banned. There were no books on that in my libraries and all that. And I was a nerd. So I grew up wanting those things, and I would steal Famous Monsters of Filmland magazine from local stores. I probably owe them all about $20 because, but eventually my parents would buy it for me. And that was that was the thing until 1977 changed everything and Star Wars came out and everybody was big on sci-fi and all that. But before that, you had to work hard to get that sort of thing. You'd get the occasional TV show, Dark Shadows reruns if you were lucky, or Doctor Who. But what I also found was In Search Of. And I started discovering those books. And I started getting really into Bigfoot, UFOs,
Right.
and stuff like that. Because that section wasn't banned at the libraries and all that. They didn't realize what that was. And so you could get into that real easy. But I grew up West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio. We had family land in Kentucky right on the West Virginia border in the town of Louisa. And that town, we had a holler monster, a local legend, an urban legend of this creature that ran around in the woods near our farm. And it had the body of a big cat or a small cow, depending on the story.
Right.
It had a head that was misshapen, and it was like a deformed human head, bald, and green glow about it, just the head. And then a wooden leg. And this sounds like something out of South Park, right?
Right. Yeah.
And Scuzzlebutt. No, but again, it does have a dumb name. It was called the Bench-Leg, the Bench-Leg of Goble Ridge. And growing up, I'd hear that story. My uncle would tell it. My father would tell it. Various family members, cousins would tell it. A lot of the Sires clan, Muncy clan, Meeks clans, they all talked about this. And I was like, this is stupid. I want to hear a ghost story. I want to hear something spooky. I want to hear something scary.
Yeah.
I don't need to hear about this cow thing jumping from tree to tree with its whoop-ass stick and knocking you off your horse. What's that going to do to me?
Right.
But when I would say I was around 10 or 11, walking out in those woods late at night, because we just did that. You just let you alone in the woods at night out there. It's dark sky territory. So I'm looking for UFOs.
Yep. Of
post Star
course.
Wars, post Close Encounters.
Yep.
I'm watching the sky. Come take me, aliens. And one of the horses goes running by right next to me in the middle of the night. I'm like, whoa, horses don't do that late at night unless something spooked them.
Yep.
Then the next one goes running by. I'm like, so that's two horses go running by. What is going on? I'm like, oh, there's a bear or something else out here.
Yeah, something's
and all
coming.
I've got my little flashlight and my BB gun, my little.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do. If it's a bear, he's just gonna eat me and laugh at me. So I'm like nervous now, and then I see this strange glow coming through the forest towards me, about 2 or 3 feet high, and it runs past, and I get a good look at that face, that weird head, and I'm goosebumps still every time I tell this story. Terrified me. It was a deformed looking creepy thing, and it runs past. I did not see if it had a wooden leg. It looked more like a panther the way it was moving, but again, didn't really get a good look at it because it was underbrush and stuff. But damn, that hit me. So now I realize every single one of my family, generations, have a story where they saw this thing. And it didn't make sense. I'm like, these are Bible thumpers. There are no ghosts, no Bigfoot, no nothing. But I saw the Bench-Leg. Yeah. So
yeah, that's amazing that they're okay with that, but ghosts.
Yeah, it's not demonic. It's not a ghost. It's these other things don't exist. This is just out here. It's just a critter. And that's when I started realizing there's folklore here. And you start researching it, and I found an old story about a peddler in the 1700s, before it was even a state. And he got murdered by a group of bandits who killed him, and they killed his ox that was drawing his cart, and they stole his money, and he had fought back with a stick. So they buried him in a grave, and they put the cow on top of it to hide the crime. But they figured it out. Yeah. And then they arrested him. They arrested most of them. And he comes back as this vengeance ghost. And that's the story. Now, what's fun about that is, I started telling this story in books and on the podcast and stuff, because I want to spread this story. I want it to be out there. It's my family monster. And I got a letter. We did the podcast Eerie Travels, and I got an email from a guy who lived in Lexington. He says, I'm related to that story. And I said, how? Did you know the Muncys? Do you know the Meeks? He's like, no, my great-great-great-grandfather was one of the men who was hung for killing the peddler.
Oh, no way.
He's like the black sheep of our family. Oh. So we know that story. And I'm like,
what? So
you follow the folklore, you find the history.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I do all this time. It's like, and we ran the haunted house for 20 years, and I based it all on local lore and legends down in Florida.
Right.
And that's why I collected all these stories in Florida, just to keep it alive and keep these stories alive. Instead of having a werewolf jump out at you, we had the skunk ape jump out at you. Instead of, a random vampire, we had Matamore's Bordello, the from Matamore, a infamous, I love, she owned the Orr House in Tampa.
Ooh, really?
Come on.
Yeah.
The Orr House. Yeah, it's funny.
Orr House.
Yeah, exactly. Love those plays on words. But we said, oh, she'll be our vampire queen and stuff like that. So we did all that. And that's why I just kept collecting the stories. And then when the haunted house shut down, I started doing the books and just going back to the real stories. And it was fun.
It's so they say, if I'm correct on this, that every story, or every made up story, as everybody says, is really steeped in some truth. Am I correct on
that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's got to be something. I mean, it may not be that location, because we learned that stories migrate. Because if you tell a spooky story about this bridge that happened, or something, you're not going to say, oh, that bridge, that bridge was downtown 12 miles away. You're telling that story at the Boy Scout camp. You're going to say, and that's the bridge right there.
Right there.
Yeah. And then that story moves to that bridge, and everybody thinks that's your new crybaby bridge or whatever. That's why there's like 50 crybaby bridges. ladies in white, that does seem to be some sort of paranormal phenomena. I don't like to use paranormal. I like to use preternatural stuff we don't understand.
Right.
That seems to be the way certain people see these figures. It looks like a lady in white, a man in a hat. They're the shadow people, all that.
Because there's every town you go to has got a lady in white or shadow figure. Almost every town, including Chickamauga, which there is, even though you have the ghost of Green Eyes, there is
These
still
are black figures.
But there's a lady in white.
Lady in white on the battlefield, yeah. And everybody, oh, it's a nurse, oh, it's a bride, it's this. I think people just interpret them, the people who can see them, see them as a white or black and white figures. A lot of people we talk to, they look, when they see a ghost, they're like, it looked like something out of a black and white photo.
Right.
And stuff. So, and that, some people only see the white, some people only see the black.
Right.
Some people see the black and white, and then some people see color.
Yeah.
And I think it's something we don't understand how people see things.
Correct.
But I do think a lot of them do have stories behind them. And again, you chase the folklore, you find the history.
Yep.
Sometimes that's scarier than the stuff that, the mini lights in St. Petersburg, perfect example.
Yeah.
That is, she's, mini lights, little green lights chase you if you say mini lights come out tonight 3 times.
Oh.
Everything's 3 times. You got to mock the Trinity. But then it was,
I don't believe in the lotto winning. I don't believe in the lotto winning. I don't believe in the lotto winning.
Yeah, exactly. But then there's also the, if you go to the south side of St. Pete, people are like, oh, she's Mini Lightning, and she's the voodoo queen of St. Petersburg. And if you invoke her gator boys will come out and steal your children. So beware of mini lights.
What?
The gator boys will steal your children.
I've never heard
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, well, then again, south side of St. Pete. So you got to be in the right area to hear that version.
Yeah.
And again, I start looking into it as a historian folklorist. I'm digging in and I go, all right, mini light sounds like Mennonite. It could be something like that. Circus people were in the area. So it could be something that could be the gator boys, something with reptile skin or something like that.
Right.
You dig. And then you're looking for something else. And then the answer hits you in the face. I was looking through St. Petersburg Museum of History's archives and a fan falls into my lap. One of those fans you use to cool yourself off.
Mighty show is hot here in the South.
Yeah, exactly. And it was for a tourist attraction in St. Petersburg that I didn't even know existed. It was an alligator farm in the 1930s.
Oh.
And they used to entertain tourists. Now, you and I go to alligator farms and stuff. What do the alligators do? They lay there. Yep. They're not exciting. It's just, it's a gator.
They'll throw a chicken out there to make it move. Yeah.
Exactly. When you're feeding them, they move around.
Right.
Now, Gatorland's got that down to a science. They know how to do it. But here is the 1930s. Their fan advertising had 2 little African-American kids being chased by alligators on it. Looked like a copper tone ad.
Wow.
And then suddenly you realize, okay, and you find out, they used to kidnap kids from the south side of town.
Yep.
And put them in the gator pit and let them be chased around by alligators, usually African-American or minorities and kids who wouldn't be missed.
Yep.
And so beware of mini lights. The gator boys will steal your children. Was beware of the men with lights. The gator boys, they will steal your children.
That makes more sense now. There you
go. Worse than a voodoo queen, worse than green lights chasing you.
Yep.
But you can see how it morphed over time.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with these Appalachian holler stories, the Irish Highlands, the Scottish Highlands, Irish Hills. I mean, that's still Appalachia, just before that giant Brexit millions of years ago.
Can't believe we got to share our crap with the Europeans, damn it.
Yeah, exactly. And then we got all this. You go anywhere, though. I've been to Romania. I've been to Czechoslovakia. I went all over the world, and we find it's the same legends. It's the same scary stories, all that fun stuff. You never know what you're going to find.
And it just makes what we do more fun.
Yeah.
Is that the way to say that? I think it is, right?
I mean, it gives you a scope, right? And I know a lot of psychics want to go into places cold, right? They don't want to know anything about a place. And that's good. I think the psychics, that's a good way to do it. And then they can check their results after. They get some weird words, don't make sense. then they check. Where if you're going in with your little spirit box or your little thing that rotates radio channels, I hate those.
Yeah.
Because it's a random word generator.
Yep.
How many times have you and I talked about something, then the next day it pops up on your Facebook ad?
There it is.
They're listening to you.
Yeah.
These same little random word apps on your phone, guess what? They're random word apps. They're going to say words keyed to what you've said. They listen. It's not special technology in your phone that can pick up ghosts. I'm sorry. Sorry to disappoint. And also that thing that randomly rotates radio channels, it's randomly rotating radio channels. Who knows? A ghost isn't steering it.
No.
And then when you hear, and it's like, oh, that says Mark is a demon. No, it's a, it sounds
exactly
like you and I have moved microphones around and we get weird noises. Guess what? You move something and then
atmospheric pressure will cause a microphone to actually sound like you heard something. Just the atmosphere alone.
Yep.
So
that's that whole flashlight thing where you barely touch the flashlight and you're talking to humidity. You're talking to a light bulb that heats up and expands and contracts. You're not talking to a ghost. No. I'm sorry, gang.
And do you ever find that it really when you debunk something, right? People get, I mean, just downright mean.
Yeah. And I mean, I was a GameStop manager for a while, so I hate the SLS cameras because they were for the Kinect, the Xbox Kinect. Yep. One of the worst designed things ever.
Yep.
Have you ever tried to play a Kinect game? It looks terrible.
Horrible.
And it tries to make human shapes out of random things.
Yep.
Guess what? Oh, it looks like a stick figure on top of another stick figure. Yeah, it's because the Kinect's designed to do that. It's going to make anything look like that.
I can actually take one of those and go through a room and hit a lamp, and it'll make it into a stick figure,
a dancing figure.
Like, no, that's not what that is.
And it's good television. That's all it is.
Oh, it is. It is. And so let me ask you a question. Let me ask you this, and because this is a question that I have asked just thousands of people, not millions, but thousands of people. Has there ever, and I don't mean animals that we thought went extinct but came back. So, because I know when I say this word, you're going to go, oh, well, there's this. And so has there ever been any cryptid found in any way, shape, or form? And when you ask Google that, AI comes up, well, this is a Siberian a wolf or something like that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
you're not talking about like ABCs, the alien big cats, where a big cat's seen in an area it's not supposed to be.
Right.
Or,
I'm talking about Mothman, Waddler, or whatever. I mean, I'll
be honest. The one that gets me
is
the closest we got is the Kraken, because the stories of the Kraken, mythological cryptid, it shows up every once in a while and all that. But now we've discovered the colossal squid.
Right. So that's what I'm talking about. I mean, that kind of stuff. Yeah. I mean, and you got to think about, and I'll get a little weird here. So back in the day, well, these are unicorns. Well, we don't have unicorns. Well, actually, we still have unicorns. They're called rhinoceroses, and a rhino is a unicorn.
Yeah, and narwhals, and and then there are one-horned goats and one-horned rams, and remember that was a big deal. Ringling bought the one that was born. So they do happen. And I do think maybe they existed and we hunted them to extinction. That happens a lot. I think some of the dragon mythology or legends are that. I mean, there's early naturalists of America drew pictures of fire-breathing lizards.
Yep.
And it's like, well, where'd that come from? Well, they saw it. They drew it. They also drew alligators. They drew some other things that were the first times anybody had ever seen them.
Right.
So, again, I think if you go back to the folklore, you find some things like that. It's like if you look hard enough, you might find that there was something there. Right. Have we ever documented a proper, what you would say, cryptid? It's tough. I mean, again, it's one of those, colossal squid. I think it's documented now. Before that, it wasn't. And when we were growing up, 70s, 80s, Kraken's a myth. There's no such thing. And, people are confusing. And now we're like, oh, yeah, they were there. We got them on camera. We've got them. We've known about them for years. We just don't talk about it.
Right. But I mean, off the top of your head, you could probably name 10 cryptids that you probably would like to exist, but probably do not exist.
Yeah.
You know
No,
what I'm saying?
easy.
And
Yeah,
where, I mean, like Mothman.
I mean,
Let's take
and
Mothman.
also like, yeah, see, Mothman, I think people saw it. I've talked to some of the original witnesses. I've talked to recent witnesses who've seen something. Does he look like a moth? No. He looks like some sort of flying bat type thing. And they can't call him Batman because when he was spotted, Batman was the #1 TV show in America. And you can't call him that. You'll get sued. Some reporter called him Mothman and it's stuck. That's what happens with a lot of these monsters is they want to call him something else and they can't. So they can't say, oh, he's a flying Sasquatch or an angel-like being with hair. Right. That's what every description I got. You didn't want to say there was an angel out here.
Well, it could be a demon.
Mothman, it could be something like that. That would be West Virginia. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yep.
And that's just it. Do you debunk these things because they don't make sense? Do I debunk that thing with a human head that I saw in the woods? I don't know what it was. I'm not saying I saw the bench leg. I'm saying I saw something that fit the description.
Right.
And I don't, my young mind interpreted that way. I don't know if I saw what I saw. I would love to go back there and catch it. That's another one of those things. See, I don't go on Bigfoot hunts, ghost hunts, UFO hunts on my own. I go with teams. I've always go with the teams, and I am not a Bigfoot hunter, ghost hunter, UFO hunter. I am there to get their stories.
Yes.
That's why I go with you guys.
Yep.
I'm getting your stories and seeing if they jive with the stories of locations. Talking about that, the random word stuff and everything. There was a psychic at the May Stringer house that kept in Brooksville that kept coming back with the word Murphy. Now there's no things there with the families, the Mays or the Stringers that had anything to do with Murphy,
right? That
they knew of. Right. And it's a museum, so there's random objects there. So everybody's trying to figure out, who's Murphy? What is this object tied to Murphy? And then I was like, where was it? And they were like, it was in the military room where they have all these military archives. And I'm like, I know exactly what the word is. And they were like, what? I'm like, this is why I trust psychics about 60% of the time. A little more than 50, I'll be honest. Because I went, hey, Murphy, if they went to war in World War II, they were trained in Florida, most likely at Camp Murphy.
Oh.
And there was tons of objects there from early World War II, people being shipped out. Guess what?
Wow.
They would be tied to Camp Murphy.
Right.
So if you didn't know the history, you didn't know the folklore, it's a random word.
I didn't even know there was a Camp Murphy.
It's long gone. It was, they bulldozed it after the war. It wasn't needed anymore. Wow. So it was also where they learned this new technology called radar. So it was kind of top secret.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Dang.
Yeah. So there you go. History is important to these things, and you don't realize it.
So now, do people reach out to you and go, "Hey, what about this?" And has anybody in the last 4 or 5 years came across with something that actually you went, "Oh, I didn't know about that"?
Oh yeah, I get that a lot because I usually get after we did Eerie Appalachia, I'd done the 3 Florida books. Yeah, we started doing Eerie Appalachia. When that hit, I started getting a lot of meemaws and peepaws reaching out because I was documenting their stories and treating them respectfully. I wasn't making fun of people with stupid stories. So a lot more people started giving me their holler monster stories, their lesser known things, which is what I live for. That's the stuff I love, deep diving, and you get these names that don't make sense, but then you start digging into it and you're like, oh yeah, that's the stuff. That's the good stuff. But again, I'm finding haunted houses I didn't know about, haunted locations I didn't know about, UFO encounters that I didn't know about, an alien abduction I didn't know about. This is the stuff that I live for, and it makes it all so much worthwhile when I get to talk to these people who tell their story for the first time. And they always start it with I know this sounds crazy, but, and then I'm like, no, I don't think you're crazy. I think you saw something you don't understand. I think you heard something you don't understand. And to this point, we still do these events. And it's like, if I'm at a ghost event, they'll be like, I got a ghost story to tell you. And then they'll look at my book and see a Bigfoot on it. And they'll be like, oh, no, I'm not going to tell you because you believe in Bigfoot. You go to the Bigfoot hunt, Bigfoot expos, and they go, oh, I gotta tell you about this Bigfoot. And then they see my book with a ghost on it or an alien on it. And they're like, nope, not going to talk to you. You're crazy.
That
And
doesn't
then
make
you
any
go to the
sense.
UFO shows, and you go to the UFO shows, and they don't want to talk to you at all because they don't talk to anybody. They're afraid you're going to get abducted by men in black. So, but it's so funny how that is. There's this wall between the three.
Yeah.
And I am of the opinion there's a little something hinky with all of them. I think there is natural stuff that we don't understand. That's like I said, preternatural stuff we don't understand. Why do certain areas spark more? Why do we see ghost lights on Brown Mountain and Thomas Divide Overlook? Is that a natural phenomena? Is that a UFO? Or is that ghosts? Who knows? Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
And I think if we study it enough, we'll figure it out. The problem is there's no money in it. Science don't want to throw money at this. That's why the TV shows, as bad as they are,
do really well.
They're helping. They are helping because they are drawing eyes to it and making it people realize, oh, there is money here, just in a different way. But hopefully we get some science behind it.
Well,
and get some real money in.
So we're running out of time, but I wanted to hit that real quick. I mean, this is a hard question, and I know you don't have that much time, but I'm just going to try to hit really quick. So, how can you tell who's the real deal and who's not the real deal?
It's one of those, we've done this enough. It's kind of, you talk to any cop, you talk to any person who's done this a long time, investigators, insurance investigators, stuff. Mm-hmm. You kind of learn who's telling you the truth, and you kind of learn who's just in it for the gold and the glory, even though there is no gold and no glory. It's just one of those, you'll see it. Like when I tell it, you get the goosebumps on their arms. They shake. They don't really want to talk about it. It's good. It doesn't make sense. Those are the ones that I love. The ones that are like, ta-da, and happy ending. Right. That's the ones I'm like, okay, no. When they talk about something that is so weird.
Yeah. Well, then you get the ones that, I mean, so it's not like I've been in this Bigfoot world and everything for a long time, but I have been in the media for a long time. And I see these people that literally come out of nowhere and they're superstars. I'm like, how the hell did this happen? What did they do to make them get the following that they've gotten? And then you go look and it's like, they ain't done shit. It doesn't make sense.
Fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. A lot of people buy followers. I mean, that's the thing online, social media. You see somebody's got 50,000 followers overnight. Guess what? They're Indian robots. It's so you don't believe that. Look for boots on the ground. Look for history. Look for all that. Like I said, I'm not a boots on the ground guy. I'm a 55-year-old epileptic. I just go with the people and get their stories. But I dig into it for them. We'll go into the archives. I can do what I can, but I'm not going to be out there in the field looking. But guys like, people we've talked, Harley, he's out there in the line worker. He's seeing weird stuff. That's what they follow the power lines. We know this. And that's just, people like that. Yeah. And then some people, they get popular because they're pretty. Some people get popular because they look good on television.
Just because you got views doesn't mean you know what you're talking about. With that said, we only got 10 seconds left. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching this week. We're going to eventually have everybody on. I know that I keep saying that, but we are. I got 2 more people I've got to interview to get them done, so we have everybody on here. Thanks for watching, everybody. We absolutely appreciate you, and we will see you next week on the ParaGeeks. Bye.